So how do you feel now?
I'm just happy to get out. I mean, perhaps a better question because I just spent like 18 hours in jail.
So tell us what happened in your words.
You know, the same thing that's been happening for the past 3.5 years. You know, we try to go out and record the police in order to help protect people's rights, encourage people to stand up for their rights, and bring communities together to fight police abuse. And they have shown a pattern and practice of violating our constitutional rights to do so. And so last night was just more of the same. They didn't like the fact that we were out there filming, and so then they decided to arrest us in order to try to chill our ability to fight back.
Now, what was the purpose of you filming out there?
The same purpose we have of filming all the time. Our goal is to go out there and put cameras out on the street in order to do a few things. One is empower people to recognize that they have rights and that they can stand up for their rights. Two is document police activity in case anything unprofessional or criminal happens. And three is to try to deter police officers from committing crimes or acting abusive. Typically, that's exactly what happens. However, when you run into people like Sergeant Randy Deere, the exact thing opposite happens. He sees cameras, he sees it as a threat, and then he'll go ahead and attack people who have cameras in their hands.
Now, what do you say to those who may say that, you know, Antonio, you have a history of kind of pushing the envelope when it comes to the police department? What do you want to say to that?
Well, I mean, I have a history of getting arrested illegally, and I always get exonerated. The Austin Police Department has a history of committing crimes. We don't commit crimes. We go out there and try to document police activity. Good police would want us to film them because they would want to show the world how wonderful and professional they are. The only cops who seem to have a problem with it are criminal cops. And unfortunately, Austin Police Department has a lot of criminal cops.
What made you decide to start filming those two officers last night?
Oh, it was a string of a lot of things. So Sergeant Randy Deere has been harassing cop watchers now for months. There's been other people that he's threatened to arrest on numerous occasions. And we were actually just filming not even a detention. There was a guy who was out there proselytizing of some sort, and the police said, hey, you can't do something here. So he was just asking him, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do? And so it was a completely consensual conversation. No reason for anyone to get upset. And I was filming, and Sergeant Randy Deere started following me around saying, you need to back up, you need to back up. And I was like, I'm allowed to be here. And so after that, we just started to shadow him for the rest of the night because we knew that if there was anyone that was going to be committing a crime that night, it was going to be him and his subordinates.
Did you ever get close to him?
Well, yeah, I think that if you look at the video, we're pretty close, but if you look at the video, you'll realize that he walked towards me. He came up towards me, he started talking to me, then he said something silly like, you need to be one arm length away after he approached me. So no, I think the video will tell everything. I haven't seen the video. I know that we expect to put out the video, and I think that the world can see. I mean, the people of Austin can certainly see that the only criminals out last night were the Austin Police Department.
What did you think about the resisting arrest charge?
I mean, listen, you can resist arrest by shoving your face into a police officer's fist over and over again. It's just, you know, they can come up with anything that they want. I think it's pretty obvious from the video. I wasn't resisting arrest. I was trying to give my camera to a friend because they have previously held my cameras for 2 years to prevent us from getting the video out. They refused to give us the dash cam for my initial arrest for 2 years and 9 months. And so I wanted to make sure that video was available for everyone. Because what they do is they put out a narrative that's false, and then the media doesn't have much to go on. And so, well, the police said it, so we'll at least repeat what the police said, but it's a straight up lie. So I wanted to make sure that that video was available for everyone.
So that's what that possibly could have stemmed from you trying to give a camera to someone else.
But I think that any reasonable, objective, or semi-intelligent person can see I didn't resist arrest. It's just Austin Police Department's pathetic attempt to try to layer on charges.
So what's the next step for you, Antonio?
The same thing. I mean, first off, the Peaceful Streets Project is way more than me. It's just some of these police officers seem to have a liking towards me. But we're gonna keep cop watching. We're gonna keep doing Know Your Rights trainings. We're gonna keep working with other allies. the police accountability movement is a national movement now, and we're working with people in other cities, and we're just going to keep pushing forward. We're not a very civilized society. We still believe that we have to give people the right to violate and abuse people in order to keep order, and we need to evolve beyond that, and we're a long way from getting there. But hopefully, through the work of the Peaceful Streets projects and other committed individuals nationwide, we can move towards that evolution.
How do you feel that this is happening again?
I finally beat my last charge just last month. So I had been arrested 5 times. I've had 10 criminal charges previously. I've had dozens of investigations against me, and we beat every single one. And I was finally free and clear. And so there's some people out there like Hubert Acevedo who might try to say that I like to get arrested. The last thing I like to do is get arrested. I was happy to finally be free of all these charges, but when we're out there and we're flexing our rights and we're standing up for the First Amendment and our basic constitutional rights, and a cop comes over and says, we're going to violate your rights right now, sometimes some of us will make that decision at that moment to say, well, you know what, we're actually going to flex our rights, we're going to stand on principle here and let the chips fall where they may.
Cool. Felix, anything?
Peacefulstreets.com. If anyone wants to join us, please contact us. We need lots of volunteers out there. Austin Police Department has 1,700 cops, apparently 0 cops who are willing to speak out against the crimes of the Austin Police Department. One activist is as good as 100 cops, so if you want to join us, please go to peacefulstreets.com and learn more.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah. You guys have anything planned tomorrow? Or,
Not that I know of. I mean,
Okay.
they might organize something, but I've been hanging out here, so.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I understood the situation that you're reporting. So at one point, did you guys, what was your focus that night?
Our focus the entire night, as it is in all cop watching outings, is to document police interactions with the public. And so sometimes we'll drive around the city looking for stops. That's actually the majority of what we do. We're actually not on 6th Street that often relative to doing roving patrols. But yeah, we're just downtown looking for interactions. And so we look to see if there's scuffles, if police are rushing towards something. And when we see that, we'll move. Other times, it's a lot easier just to sit and hang out near where the police officers are because they'll take us to the action. And so in this instance, Sergeant Randy Deere and a good number of his subordinates have been extremely antagonistic towards cop watchers, and so we just figured we'd stay right there and let the action come to us.
So if I'm telling this narrative and I want to say this happened and this happened and
Yeah.
this happened, where does it all start, would you say, that night?
I mean, well, it didn't start that night. It started January 1st, 2012, and it's been an ongoing, saga ever since.
Because you already knew this sergeant.
Well, I didn't personally know him. I know that he's pushed me before, he's shoved me before, he's given me false orders before, but he's actually done a lot worse to some of the other cop watchers. He has been extremely aggressive to Julian Reyes, who had his dog Shinerbach killed by Austin police. He's been extremely aggressive towards Joshua Pineda, who had his head bashed open by DPS. He's been very aggressive towards numerous cop watchers, and he's a senior ranking official in his little squad, and a lot of his subordinates mimic his activity. It's just a complete breakdown of leadership and professionalism within that squad. And unfortunately, I reached out to a lieutenant last night before this whole thing blew up, and I said, this guy's violating our constitutional rights. It'd be great if you would pull him aside and do some professional development with him. But